we're going to jump right in. I'm using 3 different decks today. So I'm going to use 2 oracle cards, the Work Your Light oracle card deck, the Spirit Animal oracle card deck, and then I will use the Light Seerers tarot card deck. Awesome. So I've already shuffled them, so I'm going to go ahead and pull. We're going to do 3 from each to start and then see what else comes up. All right. So from the Work Your Light, the first card that comes up, Warrior Woman. It asks, have you answered your deepest calling? I think this is a really poignant message right now, especially with this super full moon in Scorpio that is happening right now, where we're really being invited to wish our biggest wish, right? This is asking us if we've answered our deepest calling. There's an invitation here to firstly just come into relationship with what is that deepest calling within us. And then to really inquire about whether we've answered it. Have we taken the necessary action to answer this calling, this deep calling? It is my belief that many of us have incarnated right now for a very specific reason. And that reason is because of the big transformation that's happening on this planet. There is a need for all of us warriors, all of us healers, all of us change makers, bridge builders, peacemakers. We are here right now for a reason, right? A big dharmic kind of soul purpose reason. And we're being invited to really get curious about whether or not we've answered that deepest calling. The next card from the Work Your Light, I'll keep these on here. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the divine, laying foundations, divine plan. To me, this card is all about the energy of the divine mother, the divine grandmother, right? We don't necessarily have to be in deep relationship with Jesus or with any particular religion to be able to hold space for that energy of motherhood, that divine motherhood, right? Whether we are looking at or thinking about like the planet as our original mother, whether we are thinking of ourselves, maybe part of our deepest calling is this like nurturing energy, right? There is in this card a callback to kind of like an ancient time, right? We can see the like Sphinx there. We can also see up in this corner some like old towers. There's just this like invitation to really lay our own foundations and let the seeds of light take root within us, right? This says seeding the light, divine plan. There's an invitation, I think, right here as well to trust, right? With this warrior woman piece, right? There is this energy of doing our part while simultaneously trusting that bigger energies are at work, that bigger forces are at work, right? There's this invitation to do what we came here to do, take the action that is ours to take that aligned action while simultaneously trusting that we actually can't do everything and trusting that the players are in place to take care of the other things, right? There is this take action and also trust that the action that we are taking is seeding the light and part of this big divine plan. And then lastly, we have the invitation to get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect to nature. I think this is a huge reminder for us as we walk this path to answer our deepest calling and do the big work that we came here to do. It becomes even more necessary that we get grounded, right? It becomes even more necessary that we are doing self-care, especially for those of us who identify as empaths and introverts, right? It is, or anyone who's really highly sensitive, right? The more that we open ourselves up to the divine plan, the more that we need to get grounded in our own energy, because frankly, the divine energy that might like channel through us is going to be really big. And so how are we taking care of ourselves? Also that invitation to connect with nature, right? Where so much wisdom is held, right? That same energy that I mentioned of like the like Mother Earth, right? Where how are we connecting with the earth and getting really grounded as we do this work? The other piece that I just want to name here, right, is that like this deck in particular, this Work Your Light deck, the other deck that I know that they put out is like a starseed deck. I feel like a lot of light workers are starseeds, right? Individuals who have incarnated in other realms at other times. And there's an invitation right now to ground our energy on earth, right? We chose to come here to earth for a reason. So how are we then getting grounded and staying here rather than maybe doing what feels more familiar or doing what feels more fun, which is doing like journeys in the stars, right? So how are we staying grounded? Okay, let's look at the animals, what the animals say. So dolphin spirit invites us that this and that is true. This message has been coming through to me a lot, right? How are we holding oppositional truth within our being? How are we training ourselves to hold multiple things as true at once, right? Dolphin lives in the water, but dolphin also breathes air, right? The origin story of dolphin is that, well, all of life came from water, right? So all of us came from water. The origin of like dolphin and whale, though, is right that they went onto land and then went back into water, right? And so how are we holding this nuance within our understanding? This and that is true. I think this is a great invitation, especially for all of us out there, all of us like warriors out there, like fighting the good fight. How are we holding multiple truths at once rather than getting lost in divisiveness around like who is right and who is wrong, right? Where can we hold that actually all of our perceptions are right for us, right? Our experiential truth is true, period. Even if my experiential truth is in contradiction with your experiential truth, it's still my truth. So how do we hold space for this and for that to be true, right? That is a skill that we have to learn. Grasshopper spirit invites us to take a leap of faith. I think that again, this fits well with what was coming above, right? Where we're being asked to do the work and to trust, right? To take the leap of faith and to trust. And then nightingale spirit, love is all around, right? How do we honor that? How do we really anchor into the energy of love? I think one of, again, with getting grounded, I think that it's really easy in this world to get swept up in anxious feelings, to get swept up in narratives of fear, in narratives of scarcity, in narratives of like divisive hate. Those are the narratives that are told by a lot of the mainstream media and a lot of the mainstream programming that exists. And yet, for those of us who are here to answer our deepest calling, right? For those of us who are trying to learn how to hold that this and that is true, part of how we hold that truth is by honoring love, right? I think that love sometimes gets this like this like bad rap or something. Like I know that we still have to do the work, right? And yet, what happens when we do the work anchored in a place of love? What happens to how we organize when we organize from a place of unconditional love, from a place of unconditional belonging, right? How does that subtly change everything we do versus when we organize based off of fear or scarcity or, I have to do this or else something bad will happen versus like, I have to do this because this is what will bring purpose into my life. This is what will move us all forward. So how do we then really anchor in to love being all around? And I think part of how we do that is connecting with nature. That's part of how I do that. Awesome. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards. I will name that these are the three that fell out at me when I was shuffling. So that's why they are on top because I wanted to hold them. So the three that come through, Hanged Man, Seven of Pentacles, and then the Lovers. Now, potent. I feel like this is a potent reading when we're anchoring into the energies of this full moon. The Hanged Man is all about changing perspectives. The Hanged Man is all about new ways of seeing, right? When we see this card, this individual is upside down, but what happens when we turn this right side up? What changes in the way that her posture is, in the way that her energy is, in the way that her light is radiating, right? There is an invitation with the Hanged Man card almost always to really honor the perspectives that feel really right for us, right? Honoring that this and that is true, even as the truth that we are honoring, the truth that we are promoting might make someone perceive us as being upside down, right? sometimes for those of us who are here to kind of push forward new beliefs, new ways of being, right, to really challenge the status quo, a lot of times what that means is that we will look out of place in this normalness, right? We will look upside down, and people might want to try to reorient us. But there's an invitation here to really honor the magic that comes with turning our perspective upside down, and to really let ourselves be seen as the outsider. That's the word that's coming. To let ourselves stand apart from the crowd, to forge a new way, to let it be okay to be different, right? All of us, and we've been seeing this in movements for some time, most of my adult life, is more and more people who are finding strength and resiliency and naming themselves for who they are, even if that separates them from certain spaces or identifies them as being different, right? There is permission, strength, in turning our perspective upside down, in totally changing the way everything is. Right after the Hanged Man was the Seven of Pentacles, right? This card, especially with the way that this imaging is, seems to be all about anchoring, rooting, anchoring our magic into the earth, putting our roots down into the earth, right? Another kind of callback to this getting grounded, right? We are planting new seeds. And as we do that, we will have to slow down to tend to those seeds, right? And this person here, right? They're not just like only watering them, right? This person looks as though they're sending some sort of like energy medicine to those roots that they've planted there, right? All of those beautiful seeds that they've planted. So there's this tending, right? This need for us to tend the new seeds that we are planting, a need for us to go slowly, a need for us to be gentle, a need for us to really, really focus on the underworld, the underneath, right? The whole laying foundations theme is coming up here again, right? We are turning things upside down. We are turning things upside down. We are creating new perspectives. We are creating new truth. We're expanding truth to include this and that. And as we do that, we really need to tend to not only the roots we're planting, the seeds we're planting, but our own roots, our own seeds, ensuring that we are grounded and tended and cared for, right? So as we are building the bridge from never again to someday, right? What seeds are we tending, right? This is another, what else is coming through here is how are we fostering the seeds of hope and of love and of faith, right? And not fostering the seeds that have been fostered for too long in our society, right? Seeds of scarcity, seeds of mistrust, seeds of greed, seeds of hate, seeds of violence, right? Like that's the legacy of this American culture that I live in. And yet there is an opportunity to seed something new. So for all of us who are here, who are working to answer our deepest calling, how are we being really, really conscious of the seeds that we're tending to? And then right after that, we get the Lovers, which to me feels like a message of hope, a message of balance, a message of love, right? Because the Lovers card isn't just like, ooh, I'm in love now, and now we are like in love as a partnership. It's also that energy of love, unconditional love that comes from balance, from relationship. It to me speaks to deep love of self, deep love of each other, deep love of place, right? Where how does turning everything upside down, really focusing on fostering seeds of light, lead us towards right relationships, lead us towards love, again, real love, not conditional love, but unconditional love, both with ourselves, each other, and the world, right? Because if we can't foster that love that is all around us, right? The love is all around us. This message is coming through really strong. Love is all around us. And the way that we are really going to be accessing that is through getting grounded and getting connected with nature, right? I think that there are a lot of false messages sometimes about this like need to do all this stuff. And really what I'm seeing with the cards that have come forth is that the things we need to do is to have faith, right? The things that we need to do is seed light and trust in the divine plan, right? The things that we need to do is answer our deepest calling, get grounded, right? Trust in love being all around us, open up to the fact that truth is multiple. There isn't just one truth, right? That's like a straight up lie from like colonial thinking that there is one truth, or like supremacist thinking, right? There are and have always been multiple truths, multiple things as true, right? Because even now, as I sit here and it's daytime, on another part of Earth, it's nighttime. It's night and day at the same time. And so how do we hold these big truths? Let's see if some more stuff comes through with the tarot. I'm going to pick 3 more here and see what comes through. So Temperance came through, 3 of Cups came through, and 5 of Cups came through. Okay. So Temperance is always about balance, right? This particular Temperance card features a more like angelic being. And so there's this invitation to really balance our own energies, balance the energy between earth and above, right? To balance light, to balance darkness, to really just deepen into the relationship of balance, right? I think that that is part of how we survive all of this, right? Is through cultivating a balance, right? With both like, sometimes we're out there fighting and sometimes we're getting grounded, and there's a balance between those two things, right? Like we are like doing something, but also like maybe the doing looks a little bit more passive, right? Like sending loving energy versus like actively doing. So invitation here to just really honor balance, come back into right relationship with balance, to remember that we are inherently balanced and that it is actually this world as we've created it that is off balance, and that we do have the power to rebalance, that we do have the power to rebalance. And then we get the 3 of Cups. I like the 3 of Cups because it is a card of community, right? This is where we will get the balance, right? Is through our relationships, is through connection, both with each other, both with the planet below and the sky above, right? We are doing a lot of this like self-work, I think at least, so that we can do this collaborative work, because a lot of us probably are doing collaborative work already. And how do we do that in a way that is rooted in love, right? Rooted in like unconditional love and respect. And then the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups, especially this one, is kind of a card of despair, but like almost like self-imposed despair, right? So she's got a bunch of cups that are all spilling. She's kind of like spilling that cup, like you can see her foot's kind of spilling it, but she does have a really full cup up near her still. So there's this invitation that like loss is happening, right? Something is being lost, and yet maybe what we are keeping is all that we actually need. Maybe all the things that we're losing are the things that actually need to go. There's the other thing that's coming through right now of like just like our perspective of loss, right? Where like, especially in this one, all this essence is going right back into the earth. And when that kind of essence goes into the earth can compost it, the earth can transmute it, transform it into something new. So there is an invitation here as well that like, as we let go, that energy can be released and be metabolized, transmuted, and turned into something else. It feels like an invitation to kind of like do some inventory, take stock, and get rid of what needs being got rid of. And also to do inventory and take stock and noticing what is our emotional response to loss? What is our emotional response to big change, right? Are we attaching stories to the loss that are true or not, right? While holding that, you know, this and that is true. Like, what are the stories that we're telling ourselves about what we're losing? And are we completely ignoring what we still have? I also want to name too, if you look closely at this. There is a path that is like leading away from her in the distance, like going off to the stars as well, right? Which to me just feels like, again, like this focus on what we're losing when we have an opportunity to follow a path towards the stars to somewhere new. And we could just take, leave all that behind, take our little happy cup and move forward in life. Okay, I'm going to do 3 more from the tarot deck and see what comes through. And then I'll see if anything else is coming up, and that might be it. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, so the next cards that come through, 7 of Wands. We have the Page of Wands paired with the Moon. And then we have the Justice card, right? So to me, 7 of Wands feels all like cultivating our own inner truth, our own inner light, both like collaborating, but also really honoring our own light as we work together. There's all these wands that are kind of coming at her. She's working really, really hard to maintain her own kind of bubble sphere. So again, like as we turn everything upside down and really start challenging mainstream perspectives, the importance for us to be able to have the tools to care for ourselves and just stay rooted in our own light. Like her solar plexus is super charged. Like she has a lot of personal power, and she is really kind of like turning away from all of the maybe like criticisms or attacks that she might be getting. So there's this invitation to really fortify our soul for the fight ahead. That like as we answer our deepest calling, there might be folks, and there probably will be folks, who want to kind of like combat us with the new truths we're promoting. So how are we keeping ourselves really protected and safe and making sure that we are getting grounded, taking care of ourselves, right? Prioritizing that care work as a necessary part of our purpose. Next, we get the Page of Wands and the Moon, which feels really potent. Page of Wands, super energetic, creative being, paired with the Moon, right? This invitation to dive into the underworld, to dive into the deeper waters, to really investigate the deep emotions that are at play within us and around us, while also recognizing the duality, the balance of light and dark. This full moon here, which feels poignant with like the full moon in Scorpio, and this card where she's kind of like, almost like looks like, is she drowning? Is she falling into water? Like, so there's this invitation to, as we kind of honor our creativity, as we honor that like creative fire spark within us, to also balance that with our deep emotions and really let our emotions and deep, deep feelings influence our creativity. And to really find comfortable with dwelling with deep waters. That's really where I'm feeling this. And also, like, the two of these are kind of juxtaposed, where she is like super ecstatic dancing, creative, and she's super deep in water. So this also feels like an invitation to kind of balance this like outward energetic creative side and the inward introspective kind of deep water side. And then after that comes the Justice card, which has been coming up in a lot of my readings, especially in the final position, which feels like a really positive sign, right? That we're moving towards justice, right? And not just that, but it's an invitation for each of us to really learn from our past, right? To make right what might have been wrong, both within us and outside of us, right? To really try to learn from the past and bring balance back into how we do things. And yeah, just really honor justice, and really, again, where we are holding that this and that is true. And we're also, honoring that love is all around. And we're just really moving towards justice, right? Keeping justice in our hearts and in our motivation, and remembering that we're doing this work of turning everything upside down, cultivating new seeds, right? We're answering our own personal call, finding balance, co-creating with others, we're doing all this in service of justice, right? To move us closer to justice, to bring about justice. And so there is an invitation as well to just trust in the bigger picture, to just trust that as each of us does the inner work that we're being asked to do to get grounded, to really reorient our perspective, to cultivate new seeds, right? We're cultivating new seeds, and in doing so, the hope is that we are radically reorient how our world functions and lay new foundations that are more rooted in equity, more rooted in justice. So keep doing the work, y'all. Let me see if there's one more card on the tarot that wants to pop through. Yeah, Eight of Cups, right? Here we go again, this like walking away, right? We are being asked to walk away, right? This is an invitation to even maybe do like a ritual release. I think this is a perfect way to end this card reading, actually. Is there a way that you can do a ritual of release on this full moon to really enter into a new energy of being, a new way of being, a way of being that's rooted in love, a way of being that's rooted in our own personal power, that is also deeply connected with deep faith in workings that are higher than us, right? Because as this person is walking away, they're walking towards the light, right? They're leaving behind something, but in so doing, they're creating space for something more. So, like, let me do one more here too. Yeah. Frog Spirit, clear the clutter. I want to name that this card has come up or fallen out of the deck almost every time that I've been working with this animal spirit deck in the past couple of weeks. So there's a big, big invitation right now to clear out clutter, both internally in our physical environment, but also on an energetic level, right? We have an opportunity to walk away from things that have not been working for us, and to really turn everything upside down and get a brand new perspective, right? This might cause grief. I feel like there's a lot of, when we look around the world, we can see that there's a lot of resistance and or just like challenges in letting go of what's been so that we can invite in what's new. But as individuals who are working to answer our deepest calling, right? Part of what we do need to do as a part of that is to let go of maybe who we thought we should be, let go of who society told us we're supposed to be, or let go of who our parents perceived us to be, so that we can really step into the fullness of who we really are. So yeah, I'll end it there and really just say, if you can, do some ritual releases right now. Clear out the clutter. Do what feels right to really get grounded and do what you can for yourself so that you can take this leap of faith and really do what you came here to do. There's a lot of support for us right now. If you're feeling like you want some support in how do I kind of maintain this inner sense of self while everyone's coming at me, right? How do I be the light in this world? I would love to support you. I offer one-on-one coaching to help folks to really deepen into their own inner power, deepen into their own intuition, and really provide folks with a lot of tangible ways to really maintain our own personal boundaries so that we can have this really strong light and do the work that we came here to do, but also be really grounded and cared for and just feel more tended, more taken care of. So if that's something that interests you, please check out the show notes below. I'll put a link for how you can schedule a call with me if it's something that is interesting you. Or yeah. Anyways, I hope y'all are well. I hope this lands well. We're doing it, y'all. Really, we're being asked right now to answer our deepest calling, to take a leap of faith, to get grounded and trust that love is all around. Bye now.